YouTube, what's going on, everybody? We got a banger for you guys, and today we have the power forwards. We're starting off the power forwards for the top 5 Bron squad builds. And just to let you guys know, because I say top 5 doesn't necessarily mean that they are necessarily the best players or builds necessarily, but this is just me going based off of the list of LeBron teammates and then just thinking about how their builds are and necessarily name and all that stuff as well comes to mind, because obviously we had Shaq, we had Zydrunas Ilgauskas, we had Anthony Davis, who's a current LeBron teammate. We obviously had Dwight, Mr. Dwight Howard. We had Big Burrito Marc Gasol. So it's like we've had like a little mixture of everything here, where it's just like Zydrunas had a little bit of shooting, not too much though. Was mostly like there for defense and inside scoring. But if you wanted to be more dominant on both ends of the floor as well, then we had Shaq, who was also over 7 foot as well, 7'1". And then obviously we had the Dwight Howard build if you wanted to have some defense, but if you wanted to be very, very dominant at just driving and getting those inside buckets with some incredible dunks, and with the incredible athleticism. But if you wanted to have some more 3-point scoring and just focus a little bit more on defense and 3-point scoring and all that stuff, while still being able to score on the inside, still having a little bit of playmaking, be kind of like an all-around, but more towards the perimeter and defense with some inside scoring. Obviously, we had Anthony Davis, really good interior defender. Then last but not least, if you wanted to have somebody that was able to be a great stretch 5 and be able to, post up, do all that, still have some, okay defense or pretty decent defense, we had the Marc Gasol builds as well. So here we have Bosh, because I already had Bosh. If you guys did not know, I was originally playing as Chris Bosh in the at the beginning of the LeBron's Legacy thing. If you guys did not check that video out, go ahead and check it out, where I explain what LeBron's Legacy was and what we were all doing. And also, it's like here, there's 2 versions that I want to talk to you guys about. Well, not necessarily 2 versions, but we have my version and the in the template version. And I just a fair spoiler warning: the only difference is the biggest difference is practically playmaking. That's where we make the biggest difference in, because I will show you guys the template first, show you guys that it is actually a template. I hit edit and it immediately brings me into here. So it's like the main difference here in between the 2 builds is the fact that we have we have more finishing in terms of like post control and standing dunk, but then we drop everything else, not by a lot, but just a little bit. And then the playmaking, we drop our ball handling and speed with ball, because we focus more on the aspect of not having big driver. And the reason why I do this is just because we don't really have a whole lot of finishing ability here. And it says big driver increases the chances of a blow by when attacking close to the basket, which for, in my sake, in the whole concept that I think about, it's like, especially if you are making this and playing as a 4 or a 5, you're more than likely A, going to be playing pick and roll, or B, going to be playing the pick and pop in general and playing, the 3 ball a little bit more. You're not really going to be playing much of the post up game, especially with only like an 85. And the reason for that is just because you only have Hall of Fame post fade phenom, when if you had like a 90 plus, you would have postman technician, you have dream shake, and you would have a little bit more to utilize there. So it's like with this build having, the 70 ball handling and the 65, speed with ball, yeah, it's pretty good. But it's like if you wanted to truly play as a 4 or 5, and make it where it was like similar to Bosh, or if you wanted to use this play style, I feel like it would have been a lot better to have the 70 ball handling and 65 speed with the ball if you had a higher driving ability. So like a 76 layup and a 73 driving dunk, I don't think is as good, of ratings to use, because you're not going to get like all the greater animations to use off of, getting that quote unquote blow by. And I also don't feel like Big Driver is that big of a player in the game as well, because I had a build, like early on in the game's yearly cycle. So like near the beginning, I had like a Giannis type build where I focused strictly around having that Hall of Fame Big Driver. It was a power forward, but I had Big Driver. I had a really good driving dunk. And the whole concept around that was being able to also shoot the mid range if I had like a wide open shot. I could drive to the basket because I had a high driving dunk, and, having the ball handle and speed with ball to get Big Driver in Hall of Fame. And the build just never came to fruition at that point. Like maybe it has changed since then, but I don't know. But all I can say is like, I just feel like this particular, like this badge is not the best in the world. Because it literally says it says attacking close to the basket. So practically it just means like if you are like near the paint and you start attacking, you can get a blow by. But 9 times out of 10, especially like as a big man, if you're going to be attacking a basket, it's going to be against another like big that's got like immovable enforcer and all that stuff. So I feel like it's not going to be as easy to just utilize this badge. So instead of just trying to utilize this badge to its fullest potential at Hall of Fame and not really doing much because you're going up against people that have like really, really like a high strength and all that, because most of the time you're either playing metas that have high strength or you are facing traditional bigs that also have a lot of strength. So regardless, it doesn't really feel like it's going to work out that well, especially with how everything works in this game, especially with immovable enforcer and all that stuff. And especially since we don't have physical handles as well, it's going to be significantly harder in that regards as well. And especially with no blow by, even though it says like on the perimeter, but 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to start on the perimeter with this particular build anyway, because you're either going to screen and do pick and roll, or you're going to pick and pop, or you're going to be in the corner or something like that. I hardly ever feel like you are going to play, especially like if you are like good at this game and constantly playing with a 5 stack, you're never going to be using Big Driver. You're constantly going to try and get the point guard into his spot. If not, then you're trying to get everybody else into their spots, so on and so forth. You're kind of like the last man there. So you're just there to be in the right spot at the right time, especially like on the perimeter. And you're not really going to be able to, especially like in the power forward position, if you're playing in the 4, you're not going to be utilizing the badge, because you'll have like a center to, score on the inside, because you can just utilize your mid-range and 3-pointers. So it doesn't really matter. So that's why it's like my version is a little bit different, and I'm going to show you that right now. So this version, obviously, like I said, the main differences is within finishing and the playmaking stats. As you can see, that there's really not a whole lot of changes elsewhere, considering that, acceleration's like the only thing that got touched here really at all. And then here we have the same exact mid-range and 3-pointer here, as well as the free throw. We dropped the pass accuracy down by like 2 points. It's nothing too crazy. It's just so we can utilize those like 2 points elsewhere. And, obviously we still get to keep the same badges. So we took away 2 points, not really sacrificing anything. I apologize, man. Like I'm exhausted. I'm mentally exhausted. But for the most part, it's one of those situations where we just took away 2 points, didn't really sacrifice anything for doing that. So I just felt like it was just the best thing there. And what we did is we just decreased the ball handling and speed of ball to a 50-50 here instead of the 70-69 or whatever it was. But one thing that's really, really good about this build, or I guess it was like what, a 70-65? I don't remember. But here, what's really, really good though is the fact that we do have the rest of our defense exactly the same, really. We still have our strength the same, vertical, everything. And when it comes to this, we have increased post control, which means now we do get that Hall of Fame post spin technician and dream shake, and we get golden pluckable on top of that. And we also sacrificed a little bit of our driving because it was only 3 points, so we just miss out on posterizer, nothing too crazy there, and miss out on some driving layup, miss out on a little bit of close shot, nothing too crazy there though. just for the sake of having that 81 standing dunk as well. The 81 standing dunk, really, really good because it gives us that silver rise up and silver precision dunker as well. So we are able to actually be a little bit more effective there. So just in case we are in the paint or have to play in the post at all, we have a better time doing standing dunks. That's kind of like what we're going for. Driving dunks only there just in case we get like an open lane or something where we can do just a dunk or like maybe on a fast break or whatever so happens, then you can get the dunk as well. So for the most part though, everything else is like pretty much the same, and I'm just going to go through stat for stat and just talk about them more in depth now. But the 85 close shot's really, really good because that's just a really, really good threshold to have. Obviously the 84 is what gives you that gold masher. The 85 is fine. It would have been nice if we were able just to get to an 86 close shot to get that fearless finisher on gold, but we would have had to sacrifice something. You know, you could sacrifice the driving layup or the driving dunk. Either way, it doesn't really matter that much. The 70 driving layup is really, really good just because it's just another one of those thresholds. 70 driving dunk as well. Really, really good for animation thresholds as well. The main reason why it's at a 70. The 81 standing dunk is really, really good, as I mentioned, for those badges, practically reaching those break points for the rise up and precision dunker badges on silver. Post control, as I mentioned, we get that gold unpluckable, but then we also, on top of that, we get that postman technician, and we also get that dream shaker on Hall of Fame as well, other than just having only post fade phenom. So now we can do some post spins, we can do some post fakes, maybe do some up and unders, we can do a little bit more underneath the basket. The mid-range being an 89 is really, really strong here because the 89 is what gives us that blinders on gold. So that's a really, really good break point there just in general. And also is what gives us the Hall of Fame Dream Shake as well. And, you know, post fade phenom as well from the 86. Like practically like a lot of these are just because we have an 89 mid-range, which is pretty good. The 82 three-pointer, however, is good because that gives us the Claymore badge on gold. So that's a good threshold to reach for three-pointers. If you're wanting anything over an 82 and you're a big man, or like anything over an 80 in a big man, try to get to at least an 82 because that is really, really good for that Claymore badge, giving you that little bit of extra boost on your jump shot. The 80 free throw, it's whatever, it's free throw, but it's an 80, gives you silver 3 points. 68 pass accuracy, as I mentioned before, is for that break starter badge though. Is really, really good. We still get post playmaker a little bit, relay passer as well, get dimer, nothing too crazy, but it's mainly there for the sake of getting that break starter badge. 50 ball handling, 50 speed with ball, nothing too crazy there. It's just there. However, I have a 50 plus, even though you really only need like a 40 for the normal dribble style. That's the main reason why I have it at a 40 plus. In general, it's just for that boost of having the normal dribble style, which is really damn good for non-dribblers. And then defense, we have the 82 interior defense, so we can get that silver post lockdown and gold workhorse. Pretty good stuff there. A 71 perimeter defense. We actually have that challenger badge as well, which is pretty strong. We have silver off-ball pest, which is also pretty strong. We also have ankle braces, so we're not able to get just like dropped as easily. So there you have it. Steel being a 61, typically usually a 60, but we have that extra point there just because it's left over. But the 60 practically gives you the interceptor, so you can at least get a little bit of some tips there on the passing lanes if you are there. The 78 block rating is what gives you, not only the 77 for anchor, but the 78 for that silver chased on artist. Really good stuff there. And then we have the 60 offensive rebound. It's really there just so we can get some more rebounding, and also for the sake of getting the Chris Bosh shades of as well in the comparisons. We have the 83 defensive rebound as well, which gives us that silver rebound chaser, but then we also have silver pogo. We have silver box out beast as well. Pretty nice. We have the 65 speed, because that's just what the template usually calls for as well. We have a 57 acceleration, even though it really calls for like a 60 or something like that on the Excel. Nothing else is too crazy though. We do have what is needed for a spot finder at least, so there you have it. Strength being an 80, typically you don't get anything unless you are at a 79 where you get back down punisher, but that one extra point is what they usually call for in the other build as well. But you do have that immovable enforcer badge on at least bronze. Can't get it silver, unfortunately, but we got silver post lock, back down punisher, fearless finisher, inbox out beast. We got bronze brick wall as well, so we can at least do that a little bit, and bulldozer, so at least we can have that a little bit as well. And then the 74 vert is what gives us that chase down artist on silver, but obviously we do have aerial wizard on silver, rise up, and pogo stick as well. 98 stamina maxed out gives us that gold workhorse as well. So anyway, so that is my version of the Chris Bosh build. We have the shades of the all-time heat Chris Bosh, and notice how it's a different picture of Chris Bosh than the template version is, even though they're both all-time heat versions. So I just find that a little bit interesting, a little bit weird. Bobby Portis Jr., Al Horford as well on this list makes sense. They're both big men that can, you know, defend and shoot threes pretty much. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than that. But let me know what you guys think of this build in the comment section below. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video, man. Make sure you hit that like button. And also, let me know in the comment section below if there's any specific builds you want to see me make, any specific players, obviously other than like LeBron teammates and stuff like that. So if you guys want to see me make like a Steph Curry or John Wall or whoever, I don't know. If you think of a player that you want to see me make, go ahead, comment it, and I will get to it. But anyway, that's going to be it for me. Hope that you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later, everybody.